Okay.
What about my camera? I don't know why it's so blurry.
Are you using your cell
Mhm.
phone?
No, I'm using my MacBook. To be fair, I need a new MacBook. Oh, that looks better. That
Oh,
looks
yeah.
much better. I do need to get a new MacBook, so but yeah.
Yeah, your audio is pretty good. Yeah, it's good for like regular microphone from notebook.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All good.
Okay, so first thing I want to ask, just to introduce, is when and why you started coding.
Good question. Good question. For most of my life, I wanted to play football. And then I came towards the ages of 16, 17, where I kind of fell out of love with football. And then in between those ages, between 17 and 19, I was trying to find something to fill that void. So I tried photography, I tried different types of sports, I tried basketball, and coding was the one that really fell into place because I like building projects, I like learning new things, and I like working with computers. So
Yeah,
as I started to progress with learning more about coding and programming as well, my love for coding just gradually developed. So then it got to the point of where I am now.
yeah, that's very nice. That's very nice. It's building something from scratch is really a great feeling. Um, I saw a post that you is actually the post which I discovered you through. It was
Mm.
recommended for me on Instagram. It was a Threads post. It's curious that
Nice.
you, yeah, it's curious that you use Threads, bro. Like few people use it,
Mm. Yeah.
but it's a very nice social media. Um, I saw your post about like you thought that at the beginning you thought that software engineering was all about mastering frameworks and tools, and then
Mhm.
later on you realize that it's actually all about solving problems. And I
Yeah.
want to ask, like, what made you realize that?
It took a while, to be honest, because at the start I wanted to learn 10 different languages. I wanted to build 100 different projects in a week. I obviously didn't, or if I did, none of them were finished. And then as I started to learn more, where I just watched more coding videos from people online, I started to read more coding books. I started to understand that coding is about solving a problem. It's not just coding for the sake of coding to look cool or something like that. We code to make someone's life easier through an app, through a website, through some sort of technology system. That's the reason why we code. And then over time, as I started to understand and that started to segment into my brain, I started to understand that every time we write code, it's for a specific purpose. It's not just for the fun of it. You can write code just to have fun, build games, and that's completely fine as well. But as a professional software engineer, your goal is to write code to solve a specific problem. And yeah, that's something that's really stuck with me. A YouTuber called Primogen on YouTube, he's really well known. He really cemented that into my head of understanding that the code that we write, it solves a purpose, it solves a need, and at the end of the day, it's making someone's life better. And at the end of the day, you can take a lot of pride in that because you can build a product, you can build an app. It helps someone's life out tremendously. You can go, yeah, I built that, or I was part of building that. And that's another reason why I took up software engineering.
Yeah, that's very nice. I mean, um, I think that when you put your mind in the game, you understand a lot of things. Last year, for example, I got an internship. It wasn't really I wasn't hired as a software engineer. I was hired like just to manage the computers of the office.
Mhm.
And but then they asked me to they knew that I was programming and this kind of thing, and they asked me to build a web system for them.
Yeah.
And I had never done like a complete web system. I was just like I had to
Mhm.
design it all from drawing the flow, the
Mhm.
software flow, and it also
Yeah.
made me realize that it's not about coding; it's about really solving the problem first on the paper, and then or
Mhm.
documentation, and then you go for the code. It's really
That's
nice.
fine.
It's similar to what you told me about when you really got into software engineering. It's what made you realize that.
Mm. And a lot of things that I know I struggled with as well was before I started my internship, I was always worried if I know enough or if I have enough knowledge before I start. And then once I finished the internship, I understood that regardless of your level at the start, as long as you have an ability and a mindset to learn, you will learn what you need to learn and you'll be able to apply it into your skills as well. you shouldn't expect to go into an internship or a job thinking I know everything, because that's going to lead to a downfall. You're going to be tripped up somewhere. If you go into that opportunity knowing that I'm not going to know everything, and that's completely fine, you'll do better than you can believe.
Yeah, I think that it's all about mastering how to learn new things, and
Exactly.
it's just great.
I think that's
Um,
the best developer could have, learning how to learn. Because there's so many new tools, so many new technology that's coming out, especially stuff like ChatGPT. Understanding how to use it as a developer efficiently is crucial to your success.
yeah, every week something's popping out. Last week was the DeepSeek, and like
Yeah.
you always have to learn something new.
Mm.
I saw another post of you, which
Mm.
really made me interested. It was like about side projects, right?
Yeah.
And for you, what can make side projects be a waste of time?
Yes. A side project that is a waste of time is something that you just create to just put on your CV, to just like beef up your CV for no reason. It's pointless. Companies aren't going to take care of it, especially if they're projects like to-do lists or calculator apps. It shows no initiative, it shows no creativity, and frankly, 99% of the population who are in looking for a job are going to have that as well. Um, so when I was building side projects at the start, I really struggled with it because I didn't know what to build. I wanted to build the next Facebook, but of course, at the start, I definitely don't have the skill set to do that, and I probably don't have the skill set to do it now. But the art of building side projects is just building something that's passionate to you, even if it just makes your life better. That's an excellent side project because there's going to be creativity involved. You're going to be passionate to finish it, and it's going to be something that you can look back and be proud of. So when you go into the interview, you can explain from A to Z what the project does, why you built it, and at the end of the day, that's what software engineering is about. You're building something to solve a problem at the end, and that's what you're going to be doing in a full-time role. So being able to demonstrate that in your own time, taking your own initiative without anybody holding your hand, is probably one of the best things you can do for your CV.
Yeah, that's just completely like I see a lot of people doing like making calculators or Pokédexes
Yeah,
or marketplaces and putting it in their resume or in their GitHub. Like it really doesn't help because it's just like a like it's something that ChatGPT could do for you in some minutes. But
exactly.
like observing a problem and solving that problem with software that, as you
Yeah.
said, improves people's lives or your own life, it's just completely great. And
Mm.
it also makes me remind of the software that you talked about. um, I don't get the name now, but it was a software that helped with the PRs, helped with GitHub, with AI.
Yes. Yeah.
And for example, this is something that really solves a big problem,
Mm.
uh, saves a lot of time. It would be
Yeah.
a great side project, for example, if you were going to do something like that. Even though it
Yeah.
seems
Yeah. Definitely.
a little bit complicated because you're implementing
Mm.
a lot of things. The software is pretty complete, but
Yeah.
it's great.
Even if you don't complete it, there's lessons that you can learn that you can explain to people in an interview room or in a documentation. As long as you build a project that you're genuinely interested in, you can always learn from it. And as long as you're learning and you're having fun, there's nothing that you can lose from.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um,
Yeah.
I have an uncle. He also works with Java, and he always
Mm.
said to me that now I'm worrying about coding and this kind of thing, but when I get into the job, I will be worrying way more about like documentation and
Yeah. Mm.
communication more than software itself.
Yeah. 100%. You'll find that when you go into a full-time environment, you won't be coding as much as you think you are. You'll be gathering requirements, you'll be holding meetings, you'll be writing documentation, you'll be figuring out how to solve a specific issue as in system design, and then you'll get to the coding at the last section of it, and that will probably be the easiest part of your day. So to anyone thinking, oh, I don't know how to code, that will probably be the easiest part of your day once you
Yeah,
get into that full-time role.
yeah, that's crazy for a person that it's from like an outside perspective. It's like really mind blowing.
Because you
Um,
think as a software outside the industry, you just code all day, you don't talk to anyone, you just head down laptop. But honestly, it's quite the opposite. Because I remember at my internship, I would be constantly emailing people to have a meeting to understand what this code is meant to do, and what this project that's been assigned to me is meant to look like. Who is it meant to be working for? What should it look like when it's finished? and it's just a lot of talking, a lot of communication skills, sorry, and having good soft skills is something that is absolutely crucial. And I know a lot of universities they don't really emphasize that skill
Yeah,
enough, in my opinion.
yeah, I saw your project on Instagram that you're
Mhm.
building. It's
Yeah.
about really developing soft skills. I guess from looking from an outside perspective, and it's
Yeah.
just extremely important. I really like that project. Would you like to talk about more about this project?
Yeah, so it's going to be a platform to just help developers become more well-rounded. Because I've met a lot of programmers from hackathons, from internships, from meetups, and a lot of them have told me that they're excellent at coding, but they've struggled with their soft skills. They're excellent at the soft skills, but they can't quite grasp how to code. They want to earn an extra income by creating or sharing their content online, but they don't know where to start. So the aim behind that software is just to have all of these resources in one place, and then developers can just come click as they like and be able to learn from these resources and then apply it to their career.
Yeah, that's really great. I'll be one of the first users, of course.
Awesome, awesome. I reserve a spot.
And another post I saw, I don't know if it was in the platform's Instagram, but
Hmm.
it was like a post about why software engineers should be good at writing, you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
And I'd like you to talk a little bit more about that.
And I think everybody should be good at writing, not just software engineer, because being able to write well is being able to to showcase your ideas clearly. If you're in a meeting and you're trying to explain a system design for a really complex app, you need to be able to describe to the project manager clearly what your system design looks like, how it works, why yours is better to the to another person's idea, and being able to effectively showcase your idea is crucial, and writing is the main reason for that. Being able to write well just you're able to get your ideas from your mind onto paper really easily, and then by doing that it's like you're transmitting your ideas from your head into the other person's head, one for one, if you get what I mean. In addition to that, if you're looking for a new job, you need to be able to market yourself in the right way. When you're working in a company, 9 times out of 10, you can't really showcase or share the projects you've worked with because of security and copyright issues. So you need to be able to demonstrate the skills that you've learned, be able to market yourself and what you bring to the team. And basically, stuff like that, just being able to communicate your ideas to the world so people can see the value that you have to offer. And then once you're able to do that, you're able to command so many more opportunities in terms of events, in terms of financial gain, in terms of just moving forward with your career as a whole.
Yeah, I think this is the main point where it's not only writing, is actually transmitting ideas to other people's minds so that they understand better what you're trying to say, what you're trying to improve. And it's really great. The only reason we're here actually is because you were able to write so well that I thought that it was very interesting. So
Mhm.
this really opens a lot of doors. And
It's funny because I started writing 2 years ago, and someone told me how to write. I was like, why am I going to learn how to write? I can just code. But then, as it became clear over time that writing is the way that you convince other people to believe in what you believe, to be able to convince people that you have value. Because 9 times out of 10, a stranger who's never met you before has no expectation of you, they don't know your abilities. So it's your responsibility to be able to showcase what you have to offer. It's not theirs, it's completely down to you. And if you fail to do that, whether it's in an interview or in a job scenario or a meetup, it's nobody's fault but your own. So being able to write is crucial for that.
yeah, that's completely true. Completely true. And I saw also that you play some football, right?
I play
Or
football, yeah.
soccer for Americans, but in Brazil it's football, so it's football too. Uh,
Futbol.
what?
Futbol.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
What part of Brazil are you from?
I'm from Rio.
Oh, got you, got you. My geography is terrible, but where is Santos in Brazil?
Where what?
Football team. Santos. Where are they based?
Santos is São Paulo, because
Got you.
Neymar is moving to Santos, right? Coming back from Santos to Santos.
I'm assuming Brazil went crazy.
Yeah, Brazil went crazy. Like, if he scores against my team, I'll be okay. I'll be happy.
Who's your team? Flamingo.
Exactly,
Flamengo.
exactly.
Oh,
Flamengo.
uh, okay, got you. So, what I guess
what is your team in there? Do you have a team in UK or from Nigeria?
Manchester City.
Manchester City. I like it. I like it.
It's, but we're doing terrible.
I yeah, yeah. I mean, I see. But
But it is.
like, I saw that you did you play football, and I want to know. I don't know if there's any, but what would you say that is a connection between programming and playing sports? Like, is there something about um the team or about discipline? Because you also train with your team, and is there something connected?
Yeah, definitely. One thing that both connects programming and football is you're working in a team. So you need to be able to communicate everybody in the right way to understand and get the best out of everyone. You need to understand that what works to motivate one person might not work for the other person. So understanding how to communicate between different people is absolutely crucial. You need to understand that different people within the team have different roles within the software team. So for the example, in football, you can have the attackers, and we could compare that to programming, which could be the coders. You could have the midfielders, who could be the project managers. You could have
Yeah,
the defenders, who could be the scrum master, and just understanding that everybody's got their own roles to play, and everybody's got to be able to communicate to each other in a similar in a clear and in a clear fashion that everybody can understand, and everybody's able to work off the same line, if you know what I mean.
yeah. I think
So,
the
team,
really lack of that when we're like learning in at uni or anything like that, because we are just told to code and to do side projects and this kind of thing, but we're never told to develop the skill of communicating what we're doing and communicating why we're doing, because
yeah.
everything has to be completely aligned
Yeah.
in a company.
Mm.
So
One thing that helped me build my communication skills, I was always okay with it, but in terms of coding was when I'd be solving leak code problems, I
yeah,
would write the solution, and as I'm writing it, I'd be talking it out to my head. So to anybody else, that seems completely weird. But to me, it was building the communications of being able to explain what I'm thinking to, hypothetically, if someone was next to me or if I was in a Zoom call, I'd be able to clearly demonstrate my ideas to the other person, so we're both on the same page. And then that is a little small hack that can really improve your communication skills.
yeah. I think that that's a role that Kojebu will really play.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the project.
Again, relating back to the similarities between football and programming, I would also say communication again, because you're a team and everybody needs to be able to talk to each other regarding different domains within the programming software that you're building. And obviously, within football, you need to be able to communicate with your teammates to let them know if an attacker is about to tackle them or when to pass the ball. It's the same as programming. You need to tell the front end developers to let them know when the back end developers have finished building something. The project managers need to tell the front end developers they want a green button instead of a blue button. They need to design it. They need to tell the back end developers to connect it to that. So being able to communicate is crucial once again.
Yeah, you need to have really open eyes and ears
Yeah,
for this environment that is around the project, and it's really crazy. It seems
yeah.
really nice. Um, and just to finish, my last question is, since you were posting about AI and this kind of things, what are
Mm.
your thoughts on AI?
It's here to stay. That's the first thing. Um, it's not here to replace us, that's for sure, because it wouldn't make sense for AI to replace us. Because imagine if you get a complete stranger from the street to implement a new feature for Barclays Bank, and you want them to be able to allow transactions within the processing app. They're going to forget all about the security aspects. They're going to forget about the legal aspects. They're going to forget about a lot of crucial things that could inevitably ruin the company as a whole. So what I think is going to happen is programmers are going to be able to use AI to basically supercharge their abilities. And I think in the same way as that, if you're good at programming, AI will only make you even better because at the end of the day, the code that you write, you need to understand what it does. Because when something breaks, and ultimately it will break at some point because that's software for you, you need to be able to debug what the problem is. And when you see an error, it says 10,000 lines, the person from the street is going to have no idea where to start. But the programmer who has experience and is using AI alongside it will understand that the error isn't actually 10,000 lines, it's just a function which is somewhere else, and that's causing the 10,000 lines. So it's all about understanding that AI is here to help us, not to replace us. And if you're good at programming, it'll only make you better. If you're not good at programming, it's not going to enhance you any better. It's just going to cause you more issues down the line and just force you to write bad code.
Yeah, I've been asking these questions about AI for every person I know in the industry, and like the most experienced people, they always tell like that it's more like a tool, is a new tool that programmers
Mm.
should learn how to use in the right way, and
Yeah,
it should be used to improve, like for example when you're gonna search on the internet something about a specific function that you don't know, sometimes you're gonna
mm,
have to read a lot of things until you get to the answer, and
yeah,
if you make the right question to the AI, for example, you're
mm,
gonna get it in like 5 minutes or less.
mm,
So it all comes down to communication too at this point, right? Because you need to prompt right, you need to communicate
yeah,
in the right way, and always like understand what you're doing, obviously,
yeah,
because um person on the street, as you mentioned, it will have no idea. You will He will, like, if he really wants to get the knowledge to do all of this, he won't be able to do this only with AI. He won't be like
yeah,
asking, oh, give me a bank app, for example.
yeah,
It's like the amount of computing for it to get to it would get to build it from scratch and this kind of thing. First, it's nowadays it's just unimaginable. And if it were like this, we wouldn't need AI, for example. We would just have, like, for example, a website or a GitHub repository with a lot of like bank app or marketplace or this kind of thing, and we would just implement
yeah,
it. For
yeah,
example, Spotify copies or Twitter copies on GitHub.
yeah,
These copies are like, if you put it to run on the for like under millions of requests per second or per minute, it
mm,
won't like it won't long a minute, because
yeah, 100%.
uh, it's just not made for this. It's just a little copy.
Mm,
So it all comes out like complex software needs to be developed
yeah.
developed by real world programmers, as I mentioned it.
And going back to that point, when you're asking ChatGPT for a specific solution, you actually need to understand what you're looking for to put into ChatGPT. Because you rightly said, if you ask ChatGPT to implement a PayPal API to accept payments, it's just going to give you something that is found online on the internet, and 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work, or it's not going to be the solution that you're looking for. So again, it's about understanding that AI is best in the hands of people who actually understand how to code in terms of using it for software development.
Yeah, I think it's really comparative to a searching tool, a little bit
Yeah,
more sophisticated.
it's like
So
Google on steroids, basically.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mhm.
Like it's just great that you're my like you're my first guest. You're my first video, and
That's
it's
great.
awesome. It's awesome. So, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming here. Even tired, as you mentioned it. And it seems like it's really cold in there, isn't it?
Awesome. It's been really good. A great accent, so be fine. It's freezing in England for most of the year, to be honest. So, but yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Awesome.
Like -4 Celsius degrees or something.
Not too bad. It usually wavers between 4 and 5. But it's that usually all time round until it hits May.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Awesome. No worries. Take care.
Thanks.